Okay, here we go. Interest equals PRT. You invest $600, so that's your starting money. The rate is 2.8%, so change that by 2 decimal places for 9 years. How much interest do you get? Okay, number 2. Interest equals PRT. You invest $5,000. The rate is 3.2%, so decimal. 4 years. Means you're going to get $640. But that's not this answer. How much money are you going to have? So now how would you answer that? What are you going to do yet? So like what's in my bank account now? Okay, so you make interest, but then it adds on. Does that make sense, Tom? You just add on. Okay, you invested, so that's your P, 6 years, and this is a final amount. That's a principal, a start, that's a time, that's a final amount. Okay, do you understand that there's no room for final numbers in this formula? Okay, so, well, first of all, let's put 15,000 in for the P. We're going to replace time with 6. The question says, what is the rate? So do you understand that's going to be your letter? Which means I need something in this spot. You can't have 2 letters. What are you going to do? Exactly. So if I take my final minus my interest, or my principal, equals my interest, right? Just like how interest plus principal equals final. Okay, interest plus principal is final, so then if I do that backwards, final minus principal is interest. Okay, so you're going to divide by, and then you'd want to put that in brackets. So can you type that in? Are you getting that decimal?
Should it be in a percent or a decimal?
I think on the exam they leave it as a decimal. Yay, nay? I feel like leaving it as a decimal is good. I don't care if you put it as a percent as well, though. Okay, you're investing this, a principal, 3% for 4 years. So we have actually all our parts. Okay, now, what is a return on investment? So your formula sheet for the exam, the one I gave you at the start of the year, has a really fancy formula. I don't know if anybody has their sheet handy, but I just treat it like this. The money you made divided by the money you have to put into this. And then you have to always times it by 100. You've maybe heard the saying, what's the return on your investment? What's the return on your investment, right? Maybe you've heard that in life. So, like stocks could be a big return on your investment or a bad return on your investment, right? So how much money did we make that wasn't mine? $240 is what I made. That was just from the bank, right? How much money did I put of my own into this whole thing? $2,000. So there was a 12% return on my investment. Piper, you look like you're reading that formula. What is it all like?
Rate of return equals current value of portfolio minus previous value of portfolio divided by previous value of portfolio times 100.
Current minus previous divided by
Previous. Times 100.
So current would be like me saying, what's the final minus the previous. Final minus principal over principal. And guess what? Final minus principal is the same thing as doing interest, right? So that's why when you look at your formula sheet, it's just very simple to think about how much did I make divided by how much did I put in. Okay, because what you have at the end minus what you start with is the same thing as your interest, what you're making. Okay, but this is on your formula sheet, and don't forget you get a cheat sheet for the exam. So maybe during the exam on our cheat sheet we can together put something about just like that word.